Okay, so the main thing is when you put pressure on the reins, he'll put his head down, you release lightly. And since he just learned this, you don't want to ride with open fingers, because if you do that as you start to go, he's going to pop his head up. So you're trying to bring his head down so he has a better gait, because otherwise he used to just step pace, so they'll go back to that. His step pace is smooth, but still it's not as good for them. So you can see he's not reactive to horses that are running around a little kooky. So you're trying to just to get him to relax, lower his neck, and relax his back as you're walking. But since he's on the pacey side when he's loose, you don't want to let these type of horses fall asleep. You want to make sure they're paying attention to their feet and that they lower their head and relax their neck and back, but they don't get it too low, or you don't ride on too loose of a rein like this, because a lot of times then those horses won't be paying attention very much. Okay? So when you take them out, I know you're going to do it, but you want to just warm them up well at a walk before you start going faster. And you know, if you're riding in the arena, then yes, make circles, bend him, do some leg yields. If you're riding out on the trail, if there's some trees you can circle around, or you can leg yield them, make some serpentines. All those lateral movements will make his gaits smoother. He's pretty non-spooky. He doesn't do much as long as he's been out, but you know, when you first get him, I would run him around, because I know you don't ride a ton. And so you want to make sure he's well behaved. He's older, but he still has energy, even though he's walking slow. You don't want them saving it up for you, okay? When you go to stop, just sit back, breathe out, take your leg off, roll, and then hold. And every time you stop, it's a good thing to back them up to get their back up better. He's getting much better. He's still a little high-headed as he brings it back. So you just want to hold until he brings his head down every time you back up or any time you stop. So he just gets in the habit of bringing his head down instead of up, because that's how they got the habit of holding it up. Is someone stops, they bring their head up, and the person releases. Okay? So you're just trying to keep his focus on you, until you make your partnership. And give them little jobs to do on the trail so they're paying attention to you. And every once in a while, just stop and back up. Just do it again. Let's try another back up. So you're going to sit back, take your leg off, deep breath in, then the whoa, and then the pull. Whoa. As soon as those words come out of your mouth, then you immediately want to stop. And then 3 to 5 steps of backing up with him. And you're trying to get it so he does it with his head down. I know you want a horse right away, so you just got to remember, he's a good horse, but he's had like a quick course of Gay's training, and it's not going to stick. You're going to have to keep it up, because it's not a lot of time. They always go back to what they were used to. So let's do a turn on the forehand. Pull. So you'll see he's pulling a little bit. So you just want to practice getting those things really good. He has an idea, but he just wasn't made to carry his head in a more relaxed frame. Well, he wasn't shown how to carry it. So you want to make sure you keep asking him for that every time you stop, every time you do something. Keep asking him to bring his head down so it just becomes a habit and they're no longer trying to throw their head up anymore. Many people are inconsistent. Say you have 2 people riding the horse. One person makes them bring their head down. The other one lets them bring it up. Then the horse will keep bringing it up, because every once in a while somebody lets it bring it up. So you want to be very consistent with what you're telling him. So this is just his trail walk. It's pleasant. It's comfortable. You got just a little back and forth motion. And you're just trying to make sure he bends around his turns. And then you want to practice your stop and back up this direction as you're out there riding too. So always the same way. Be very consistent so you don't confuse the horse. And my hands are coming down a little bit, but they should be coming down towards my hips. So you're just trying to keep a straight line from that bit up to your elbow. You can go in a snaffle. It just depends on how well you ride and how good you are with your hands and all of that. So let's do another stop and back up. If he pulls, like he just pulled there, you just hold, release once he's done. When he's not pulling anymore, as you back up, just keep holding. Use your leg if you want the back up faster, and then just wait for his head to come back down. So he's figuring it out. He just doesn't have it down exactly perfect yet, okay? But that just takes time, and that's not a hard part of training. It's just being consistent and holding pressure. So when I say I'm holding pressure, I'm just tightening my fist, and when I say I release my fingers just like a centimeter, not very much. Once they're good and they understand to get their head down, then I'll go on a little bit longer and get some self-carriage out of them. But right now he needs a little help. So this isn't bad. But again, I'd like to have more of a loop in the rein in time. So that just takes time to get there. So we're going to do a little bit of flat walking. And so you're just going to add a little leg. I like to alternate my legs back and forth to make it a little bit different from what they learned before, because sometimes they're confused and they think they're just supposed to jump into that step pace. So keep your rein a little bit short until you get the gait, and then he's staying in it, and then you can loosen up a little bit. But again, if you're on trail, till you know the horse well and the horse knows the trail, it's better to stay on a little bit shorter rein so your reaction time can be much faster to help them. So it won't feel like you're moving much, but I know you're used to walking horses. But this will be a ground covering gait once you're out there. But again, if you're riding in the arena or you have a round pen to ride in, practice bending him, getting him to give to the bit, relaxing when he's doing the right thing. But I'm always kind of just lightly touching him with my legs to let him know that he's supposed to keep going, okay? So now we're going to stop, so leg off. Oh, see, he's getting better at it. Now we're going to do another turn on the forehand. These could be much better. Good boy. So you can always bring it back for more training if you want, but that's why he's cheaper, because he hasn't had all that time put into him. So you're just trying to bend this direction, relax when his head is down, not when it's up. But always make sure that they're paying attention, that they haven't gone to outer space. He's very sure-footed out on the trail. I didn't have him trip once. But again, sometimes people ride very lazily, and the horses then start to get lazy as well, and then nobody's paying attention, and then they will trip, and then the person loses balance, falls forward, knocks the horse off their feet. So out on the trail, you just want to make sure they're paying attention. If you see little obstacles on the ground, like roots, give a little half halt, give a little leg heel, just make sure they're awake, paying attention. If your reins are real long, shorten them up for a little bit till you get over those obstacles. So again, this is just flat walk, so you'll see me moving back and forth. It's very smooth. And I would like him to kind of go like that, with his head down and more relaxed. And you're just trying to drive his hind quarter up underneath himself, and then you're just catching the energy with your reins. We're not hanging on him or anything like that. We're just trying to teach him how to carry himself. And then at times, keep relaxing and see if he can carry himself. He speeds up like he just did. I just half halted on the reins, so I just gave a squeeze and a relax. Now there he's pacing a little bit, so I'm going to back up. That might happen. So back up, get his head down. Good boy, and then don't rest, just go forward again. You don't want to rest when they're pacing, or they'll make the association that they get breaks when they pace, and it'll make them pace more. But this is a nice, comfortable gait that he has. And I have a very light contact. You'll see my reins are shorter. I would like them even just a little bit shorter than this. But I have very light contact on him. Yeah, but anytime they start speeding up, just take your leg off, give a half halt. It's okay if they slow down too much, and then just start again. If he's pulling on the bit, then just slide the bit across his tongue by half halting with one hand and then the other to make it uncomfortable for him. Okay? Horses come up with all sorts of habits because they do something and then somebody releases or they get the reins out of their hand and then the horse will try it again. And this guy had, I believe, a bunch of different people riding him. So he could very easily be confused. So you're just trying to be very consistent with them. And it's always much better for horses if they have at least one good rider, if they're going to have other people on their back, so somebody can keep correcting them and unconfusing them. Otherwise, the horses can only tolerate so much. They do need some good rides here and there. Even the best, calmest horses will start to act up and do things because sometimes nobody knows what they're doing and the horse is not old and tolerant enough to just let it go. So if your horse was good when you got it, this is for other people, and now it's acting up, that could be one reason for it. Okay? Alright, now that those guys have left, let's go across the diagonal and change our direction. He does know how to leg yield. Saw his turn on the forehands, which can be better before. If he's looking at something like he's a little distracted because they hung the tarp up on the fence, just slide the bit. Get their attention back on you. Don't let them focus on something. If they're getting a little upset by it, you just tell them, hey, I'm the leader. Pay attention. Come back to me. So this is just our leg yield. So he moves off the leg pretty well. And then we'll do it on the other side. So I'm always leg yielding on the trail. I use all my arena things so it just becomes natural. And then when you need it, you know how to do it and the horse understands what to do. More leg yield. So again, he's going to focus on that tarp again, so a little inside leg. I'm bending him to the left, and I'm just kind of sliding the bit back and forth, saying, hey, pay attention. So let's go back across the diagonal. If the horse is not getting out much, and you can, I tell people run them around and round pend them or lunge them, like do both of those things. Because the one is just to let them get their bucks out. They can't always buck really hard when they're in the round pen. And they like to get those things out. It's better if they get you out without you on it, so that's a good time for them to run around, just get some of the energy out, and then do some focused work in the round pen. So that was another leg yield, and we'll do another one over here. I made a full video of this yesterday, and for some reason the video shut off. Who knows if it's off now. So I gave a lot more information, but it gets tiring doing the same thing twice. So again, if he pulls down like he just is there, you slide the bit. If they're doing it by their pasture mate that you're riding by, just slide the bit, make it uncomfortable to be by that horse, and always try to wrest it away from that horse. Okay, so we'll go a little bit faster for his running walk. When a horse is used to step pacing, you don't want to rush on your speeds to the gate because they will go back to that step pace when you ask for a little bit more speed. He's going to be focused on that tarp right now, seeing me really pulling back and forth on his mouth to get his attention back on me, shorten up because the tarp is going to be behind me just in case he shoots forward because that can scare him. Now, so if they speed up, I just half halt, sit back, kind of brace yourself. And then once they're not pulling anymore, then release. You try never to release when they're pulling on you, and you don't fight with them. You just brace, because otherwise they're much bigger than us, because they can pull on us. So his running walk at this point is just a little bit faster than his flat walk. It's not a lot faster because he has to build up and be conditioned to do it better. So we're going to go the other way again. So he's focusing on the tarp again, so slide the bit, little inside bend, get his eyes in away from it, and to focus on what we're doing. So now the tarp's behind me, so if he goes faster, I'm just going to half halt, and if that doesn't work, I'll just slide the bit again. So you can slide the bit across the tongue to do many things. Lots of people. Lots of people do it to get their head down. I really don't use it for that. I just use it to get their attention, get them to relax, and then if they're doing something bad, I do it just a little bit harder to make it uncomfortable so they can't grab the bit, but also to make them understand that whatever they're focusing on or acting up at or trying to pull you over to is not a good place to be. And that's the hard part with horses. Again, they don't understand English, so you're trying to come up with ways to communicate with them to make them understand things. Alright. But that's basically it for him. He mounts pretty well. He's good on the trail. And if you have questions, you let me know. But I think you're going to do fine with him.